All right, let's dive in. The eye.
Yeah.
This lemur, it's like the ultimate Madagascar mystery, right?
It is.
Kind of shrouded in these, spooky local legends, and definitely has a look that's a little,
Interesting.
yeah, unique is one word for it.
Yeah.
But we're gonna look past, all those kind of creepy stories, and really get into what makes this creature so fascinating, like how it's evolved to survive in one of the most biodiverse places on the planet.
Right.
So,
It really is remarkable how much, how much our perception of animals is shaped by the stories we tell about them. And the eye has definitely been misrepresented over the years, yeah.
yeah,
But when we look past those legends, what we find is actually a creature that's perfectly adapted to its environment.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are maybe just joining us for the first time, picture this, okay? This nocturnal lemur. It's about the size of like a house cat. And it has these huge bat-like ears and these really intense eyes that seem to just glow in the dark. And have I mentioned the finger?
The finger, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't talk about the eye without talking about the finger.
Oh, no. It's like the thing.
It is. It's this incredibly long, thin, bony.
Yeah.
And, at first glance, it is a little creepy.
Yeah.
But it's actually the key to their survival.
Right.
Eyes are specialized foragers. And that finger is their secret weapon.
Okay, so what do they do with it?
So they use it to tap on trees.
To tap.
They tap on trees, and they listen for the faintest changes in the echoes. It's like a built-in sonar system helping them locate grubs and insects that are hiding inside the wood.
Wow, so they're like tapping into this like hidden world of food that other animals just can't access.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, how do those big ears that we talked about, how do those play into this?
Right.
Because it can't just be for show, right?
Those ears are crucial.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like giant satellite dishes, picking up those subtle changes in the echoes from the tapping. And here's where it gets even cooler.
Okay.
Inside their ears, they have these special ridges.
Yeah.
Almost like a Fresnel lens, like the ones they use in lighthouses to focus light.
Wait, so like a Fresnel lens, but for sound?
Yeah.
That's, wow. So these ridges are basically helping them pinpoint like the exact location of their next meal.
Precisely. The eye's ears are so sensitive that they can actually hear the difference between, a juicy grub and just an empty space in the wood. It's a level of precision that's almost impossible to comprehend.
Right. Like it really makes you wonder, what other amazing adaptations we might be totally overlooking out there in the animal kingdom.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the eye is just one example.
Yeah.
And it shows that evolution doesn't always, take the most obvious path. Sometimes the weirdest, most unexpected features are the most ingenious solutions.
Yeah, so what you're saying is that a creepy finger can actually be like a sign of evolutionary brilliance.
Exactly.
That's a perspective I hadn't really considered before.
And it's not just the finger and the ears either.
Oh.
Their teeth are another fascinating adaptation. They have these continuously growing incisors, kind of like rodents.
Oh, okay. So like those cartoon beavers that can chew through anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that'd be pretty helpful in a forest.
Very helpful.
Yeah.
Those ever-growing teeth allow them to gnaw through tough wood to get to the grubs. But it also points to something deeper about their evolutionary history. You see, Madagascar is an island.
Right.
And islands tend to have limited resources. So being able to eat anything you can get your teeth on is a definite advantage.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So those incisors, they're a perfect adaptation for making the most of what's available. And it speaks to the incredible resourcefulness of evolution.
Yeah.
Speaking of Madagascar's unique environment.
Yeah.
You have to remember that the Aiai's ancestors actually arrived there millions of years ago, before monkeys even existed.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's a long time to be evolving all on their own. It's no wonder they develop such unique traits. But how do they even get there in the first place?
Well, scientists believe that their ancestors probably rafted over from mainland Africa, on floating vegetation, swept out to sea during storms.
Seriously. That's incredible. Talk about a risky commute.
It is. But it clearly paid off because they've found this whole island paradise all to themselves.
Yeah.
But those millions of years of evolution also made them incredibly specialized.
Right.
Which can be a double-edged sword, as we're seeing with a lot of species around the world.
Yeah. I mean, a specialized niche is great when things are stable, right?
Yeah.
But what happens when their environment starts to change?
That's the big question. And it's a question that conservationists are dealing with all over the world.
Yeah.
In the case of the ii, they face a number of threats. Habitat loss due to deforestation is a major one.
Right. So as humans encroach more and more on their territory, these forests that the ii is like so perfectly adapted to, they're shrinking.
Yeah, they're shrinking.
That's got to be putting a lot of pressure on them.
It is. And it's not just the loss of the trees themselves, it's the fragmentation of their habitat. Ii need a fairly large area to roam in order to find enough food. And when their territory gets broken up into these smaller patches, it just makes it that much harder to survive.
It's like their whole world is shrinking around them.
Yeah.
And it makes you think about all those other unique creatures that call Madagascar home. Right? Are they facing similar challenges?
Sadly, yes. Madagascar is a biodiversity hotspot.
Yeah.
But a lot of its species are under threat. Think about the iconic ring-tailed lemur or the beautiful blue-eyed black lemur.
Yeah.
They're all facing habitat loss and other pressures.
It's heartbreaking to think about. We're losing these incredible creatures before we even fully understand them. But are there any glimmers of hope? Are there efforts underway to protect these animals and their habitats?
There are, and that's the good news. Conservation organizations are working really hard to establish protected areas, to promote sustainable forestry practices, and to educate local communities about the importance of biodiversity.
So it sounds like there's a real push to find ways for humans and these unique creatures to coexist.
Exactly. It's all about finding that balance, between human needs and the needs of the natural world. It's not always easy, but it's essential.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things we could do is just kind of shift our perspective, right? We tend to view conservation as something separate from our own lives, but it's not.
We're all part of this, intricate web of life.
Right.
And the choices that we make, they have ripple effects.
Yeah, I agree. Every action we take, from the food we eat to the products we buy, impacts the environment in some way. And the more we understand those connections, the more empowered we are to make choices that support a healthy planet.
I love that.
Yeah.
Empowering people to become part of the solution.
Yeah.
Because it can feel overwhelming.
It can.
But sometimes the smallest actions can have the biggest impact. Supporting conservation organizations is a great place to start. Even just spreading awareness, amongst your friends and family, that can make a difference.
It's about recognizing that we all have a role to play, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just about saving, the cute animals. It's about preserving these ecosystems that sustain us all.
Exactly. It's about understanding that our own well-being is completely linked to the health of the planet.
So coming back to the ii, this creature with its creepy finger and its kind of bizarre adaptations, what can its story teach us about our own place in the world?
I think it reminds us that evolution is a powerful force, capable of coming up with these incredible solutions to even the most challenging environments. But it also highlights how fragile those specialized niches can be.
So it's a story of resilience, but also kind of a cautionary tale.
Exactly. And it's a story that's playing out all over the planet, not just in Madagascar. From the rainforests of the Amazon to the coral reefs of the Pacific, we're seeing the impact of human activity on biodiversity. And with each species that we lose a piece of that intricate tapestry of life on Earth.
It's a sobering thought, but it's also a call to action, right? We have a responsibility to protect these creatures and the habitats they depend on.
Absolutely. And I think the ii, with its unique story and its ability to capture our imagination, it can be a powerful ambassador for conservation. It reminds us that the fate of biodiversity is not a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
It's a story that is still being written, and we all have a hand in shaping the ending.
I love that. It's a really good point.
Speaking of shaping the ending,
yeah,
one thing that really struck me as we were talking is how the ii story highlights the power of curiosity.
Oh, I see what you mean. If those early explorers had just dismissed it, right, as just a creepy, cursed creature, we might never have discovered all these amazing things about it.
Exactly. It's like a reminder that sometimes the things that seem strange or even frightening, they hold the most fascinating secrets.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, what other incredible creatures are out there just waiting to be understood.
That's the beauty of the natural world, isn't it? There's always something new to discover.
Mm-hmm. Always another layer to peel back.
Always.
So I guess as we start to wrap up this deep dive into the world of the eye, is there one thing that you hope our listeners take away from this conversation?
I think it's a simple but powerful message.
Mm-hmm.
Stay curious.
Yeah.
Never stop asking questions.
Hmm.
Never stop exploring. The world is full of wonders. And the more we learn, the more we realize how much we don't know.
That's the beauty of it all, right?
Yeah.
There's always something new to discover, always another mystery to unravel.
Exactly. So the next time you encounter something that seems strange or different, remember the eye. Look beyond the surface. Dig a little deeper. You might be surprised by what you find.
Beautifully put. And on that note, we'll leave you with this. The fate of the eye and all the incredible creatures that share our planet with us is in our hands. Let's choose curiosity. Let's choose understanding. And let's choose to protect the wonders of the natural world.
Well said. Until next time, fellow deep divers.
See ya, Sam.
And speaking of Madagascar's unique environment,
Right.
you have to remember that the Aiai's ancestors got there millions of years ago.
Yeah.
Before monkeys.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a long time to evolve in isolation.
It is.
No wonder they developed such unique traits.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder how they even got there.
Right.
Did they, take a wrong turn on a family vacation or something?
Not quite a vacation.
Okay.
Scientists think that their ancestors probably rafted over from mainland Africa on floating vegetation,
Wow.
swept out to sea by storms.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It is.
Talk about a risky commute.
But it paid off.
Yeah.
They found a whole island paradise.
Did good.
But all those millions of years of evolution
Right.
made them incredibly specialized.
Okay.
Which, as we're seeing with a lot of species, can be a double-edged sword.
Yeah. I mean, a specialized niche is great when things are stable.
It is.
But what happens when their environment changes?
That's the big question.
Yeah.
It's what conservationists are grappling with all over the world.
Yeah.
For the eye, they're facing a number of threats.
Yeah.
Habitat loss
Right.
due to deforestation.
Okay.
That's a major one.
So as humans are encroaching on their territory,
Right.
the forests are shrinking.
They are.
And they're so adapted to those forests.
Yeah.
That's got to be putting a lot of pressure on them.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's not just the loss of the trees,
Right.
it's the fragmentation.
Huh.
Eyes need a large area to roam
Okay.
to find enough food
Yeah.
when the territory is broken up into
Right.
smaller patches.
Yeah.
It's just harder to survive.
So their whole world is shrinking around them.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you think about all the other creatures
Right.
in Madagascar. Are they facing similar challenges?
Sadly, yes.
Yeah,
Madagascar is a biodiversity hotspot,
it is.
but so many of its species are under threat.
Right.
You think about the ring-tailed lemur,
Yeah.
the blue-eyed black lemur.
Right.
They're all facing habitat loss
Yeah.
and other pressures.
It's heartbreaking to think about.
It is.
We're losing creatures
Yeah,
before we even understand them.
we are.
But are there any glimmers of hope?
There are.
Oh.
And that's the good news.
Okay.
Conservation organizations, they're working to establish protected areas, promote sustainable forestry practices,
Wow.
and educate local communities
Yeah.
about the importance of biodiversity.
So there's a real push to find ways for humans and these creatures to coexist.
Exactly. Finding that balance
What's that?
between human needs and the needs of the natural world.
It's not easy,
Not always.
but it is essential.
It is.
And I think one of the most important things we can do is shift our perspective. We tend to view conservation as something separate from our own lives, but it's not.
We're all connected.
We are.
It's a web of life.
Yeah.
The choices we make have ripple effects.
I agree.
Yeah.
Every action we take,
Yeah.
the food we eat,
Right.
the products we buy, impacts the environment.
It does.
And the more we understand those connections,
Right.
the more we're empowered to make good choices.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Empowering people
Yeah.
to be part of the solution.
It can feel overwhelming.
It can.
Where do we even start?
Sometimes the smallest actions have the biggest impact.
Okay.
Supporting conservation organizations,
Yeah.
spreading awareness with
Yeah.
your friends and family.
It's about recognizing we all have a role to play.
We do.
And it's not just about saving cute animals.
Right.
It's about protecting the ecosystems that sustain us all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about understanding our well-being is linked to the health of the planet.
So coming back to the eye,
Yeah.
this creature with the creepy finger,
Hmm.
the bizarre adaptations.
Right.
What can its story teach us about our own place in the world?
I think it reminds us
Yeah.
evolution is a powerful force. It can produce incredible solutions
Yeah.
for challenging environments, but it also shows how fragile specialized niches can be.
It's a story of resilience,
Yeah,
but also a cautionary tale.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's a story that's playing out all over the planet,
Right.
not just Madagascar,
Yeah.
rainforests of the Amazon,
Right.
coral reefs of the Pacific. We're seeing the impacts
Yeah.
human activity on biodiversity.
And with each species, we lose.
Yeah.
We lose a piece of this intricate tapestry
Yeah.
of life on Earth. It's sobering.
It is.
It is.
But it's also a call to action.
It is.
We have a responsibility to protect these creatures.
And the habitats they depend on.
Absolutely.
And I think the eye,
Mm.
with its unique story
Yeah.
and ability to capture our imagination,
Right.
it could be a powerful ambassador for conservation.
I think so.
It reminds us that the fate of biodiversity
Yeah.
is not a foregone conclusion.
Not at all.
It's a story that's still being written,
It is.
and we all have a hand in shaping the ending.
We do.
I love that.
Speaking of shaping the ending, it's funny, we started this deep dive
Yeah.
thinking about the eye as this creature of myth and legend.
Creature of the night.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Totally.
And now we're seeing it as a symbol of resilience,
Right.
of adaptation,
Yeah.
and really the interconnectedness of life on Earth.
It is amazing how
Yeah,
shifting your perspective
Totally.
can change your understanding
for sure.
of the natural world.
And speaking of shifting perspectives,
Yeah.
one thing that really struck me
Okay.
was how the eye story really highlights the power of curiosity.
Oh, absolutely.
Like if those early explorers
Right.
had just dismissed it
Yeah.
as this creepy, cursed creature,
Right.
we might never have discovered all these things about it.
We might not.
We might just still think that it was a bad omen.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like a reminder that
Yeah.
sometimes the things that seem strange or frightening
Right.
hold the most fascinating secrets.
It really makes you wonder
Yeah.
what other creatures are out there
Right.
waiting for us to understand them.
Well, that's the beauty of the natural world, isn't it?
It is.
There's always more to learn.
Always another layer to peel back.
Always.
So as we wrap up
Yeah.
our deep dive on the eye, what's one thing you hope our listeners take away?
Stay curious.
Yeah.
Never stop asking questions. Never stop exploring.
The world is full of wonders.
It is.
And the more we learn,
Yeah.
the more we realize how much we don't know.
It's true.
That's the beauty of it all.
Yeah. So the next time you encounter something strange,
Right.
something different,
Okay.
remember the eye. Look beyond the surface,
Okay.
dig a little deeper.
Yeah.
You might be surprised at what you find.
I love that.
And on that note,
Yeah.
we'll leave you with this.
Okay.
The fate of the eye and all creatures on this planet is in our hands.
Let's choose curiosity.
Yes.
Let's choose understanding.
Absolutely.
And let's choose to protect
Yes.
the wonders of our natural world.
Well said.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Until next time.